All right. Hey, I'm going to take the text. I'm going to stretch the tech gods as far as I can. I got on here 6 minutes early. And so far, shout out, thank you to my good friend and sister in Bolingbrook, Gail, who pointed to me what I should click on to make sure this thing worked. Oh, Gail, I can't say your new last name, Masaiska. Okay, whatever. Love you to death, and I'm going to send you a shout out note. But yeah, so we've got less than 6 minutes before we start the broadcast. So let's see if the tech gods are going to keep me on here. Nah, not a problem. Not a problem. Mm-mm-mm. No, no, no. Welcome aboard. Stay around for the interviews. I'll stay live at the end. Okay, what I just typed into the feed is that welcome aboard, stay around for the interviews. I'm going to stay live at the end. Hey, Deb! How'd your interview go this morning? Wow. Well, good to see you. I hope I set a low enough bar for you. Oh my God. Yeah, Deb. Yeah, Miss White, what's happening? Mr. Wong is here. Yeah. Oh man, Deb, it is good to see you. I had a great time with my interview this morning. Both of us are going to be presenting in June at the AATH plug, Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor online conference. I'll be posting that. They're going to be sending me the flyer, so I'll be posting that in my thread as well. Good, good. Yeah, I have been pretty busy, Say God is good. I am busy. I like that. That's what we have to do. We've got less than 4 minutes. And by the way, if you're watching the broadcast, and welcome, and it's your first time to Glue, this is Glue Monday. Glue Monday actually started from Glue Wednesday. You gave me a shout out. Oh, did you? Oh, man. Oh, wow. Oh, I wish you had told me that. I could have done that because there was a spot. I think there was a spot, but I was actually the first person. And Mallory was really good about, talking it through. So, I'm sure I gave her some ideas that made it even more comfortable when she got a chance to talk to you. And that really is what it's about, is that's just, everybody knowing how to pass the baton and not being ashamed to pass the baton and then take credit for the fact that you passed it. That's part of the message today, as we have less than 3 minutes. But as I was saying, if you're on in the broadcast, Glue Monday was born from Glue Wednesday, where I actually looked at how people always said, I love this old version where I can see the hearts and the thumbs up, by the way. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Victoria? Good. See, now I can see, so at least see that the names that you're on board. All right. Uh, broke already, that's right. But Glue Wednesday started because a lot of people said that Wednesday was hump day. Is the middle of a traditional or the Monday to Friday, because everybody thought, working was Monday to Friday. And I decided that one of the things that I always believe we should do is control our vocabulary rather than allowing our vocabulary to control us, and recognizing that Wednesday is not necessarily the middle of everybody's work week, though it is the middle of a traditional 7-day week that keeps the week beginning and the week end together. So Wednesday is the glue for a week. And even as we look at glue, it puts us into a posture of prayer, which I will always make a part of my message and my life. So so I said, instead of calling it hump day and giving the connotation of the need to get over, I said, let's call it the glue. Then the need to keep it together, because we need to keep it together. We don't need to get over. We need to keep it together. And so the glue is GLUE. God's love undoes everything. Not that it tears things apart, but anything that is torn apart, it will get put back together. And that's why it's the glue. Hey, what's up, Martha? All right. Y'all see me leaning forward. I got on these reading glasses. And that's the key. You got to have them on. Hey, what's up, Ashley? Yeah. Hey, and I hope y'all saw the first comment after this session. I'm going to stay on and do live, live interview question type of things, because I am actually that, as you know, we've got less than a minute for today's message, but this is a part of the message. I'm celebrating today that I won third place on Saturday at the Toastmasters conference speech contest, and the goal was to win first place and go on to Paris virtually, actually, and win the World Championship of Public Speaking. I did not do that, but guess what? I'm still God's child. Glue. Oh, you didn't know that one, Martha? Yeah, God's love undoes everything. And thank you, because you made me realize I need to finish that promo. So I had started doing just Glue Wednesday, but during the pandemic, I extended it to Glue Monday and Friday. So we're going to have 3 glues a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And with each broadcast, we are doing what we call the GAS series, and it's the Glue Alphabet series. So today, our focus is on the letter S. On Wednesday, the letter T will be the primary focus of the message. So if you want to get a word into the message that begins with the letter T, you just put that in the thread, in the feed, and I will weave that word into the next message. And so that's what I'm doing every time. So as we go on with today's message, today the focus is on the letter S. Now, I only had 2 letter S's put in the thread, and I think that was partially because of what we were doing, everybody focusing on Saturday with my S speech contest. So I only had 2 words to begin with the letter S that were volunteered by people, which doesn't, hey, Tessie B, which doesn't mean that the message doesn't go on. If you don't put the words in the thread, I still do the message. But I just love the challenge of you putting the message in the thread and me weaving it in, because synchronicity is a beautiful part of our lives. But also what this does, it becomes a literacy lesson. See, what I'm doing is I'm training what I call the creation of a word bank. And a word bank is where you take a theme and you take the letters of, let's say, the word. Give me a theme. Well, today's the theme is success. No, somebody give me a theme in there. Let's do it live. Give me a theme, and type me a theme in there, and I'll show you how I create a word bank. Go on, anybody, just type it in. All right, but that's what we're doing. As you put words in the thread, that becomes my bank. And then I can use those words when I have a thought. I say, what do I need to say? What do I want to say? Here's a word that I can use. And that's how I get it into the message. So that becomes a good challenge for me to use your words as well. But the reason I mention it to you, hey, Jill, the reason I mention it to you is because this is a formula that you can use as well. So whether you want to write a poem, a song, a journal, a book, an essay question, you take a word, take that word and break it down. Now, what I normally recommend with a word bank is take the word and take the vowels out of the word. Like let's take the word theme, THEME. I would take the vowels out, take the E's out, and just use the TH and the M and come up with 2 or 3 words to go. Oh, okay, there you go, Deb, thanks. Speaking. So let's say speaking was the theme. I would take the vowels out, the E and the A and the I, and I'd have S, P, K, and G. And so then I'd come up with maybe 2 or 3 words, and because there are that many letters, I'd maybe go with 2 words for each letter. So for the letter S, what are some words that begin with the letter S? And I'd say, maybe sporty and service. And for the letter P, penmanship and practice. And then the letter K, king, and then I said, I can't come with another letter K. I'll go down to the letter N. And I can't think of one. Well, let me go to the letter G. Great. So see, you don't have to go in order, but you come up with 2 or 3 words for each letter. Now, what do those words have to do with our topic? And our topic in the theme of what Deb posted was speaking. So therefore, you see how I said S, sporty, and and service. So when I'm a speaker, so when I'm speaking, I'm serving my audience. And the P, practice and penmanship. I write out my speech, or I write it in my mind and I practice it so I can deliver it. That's how you create your word bank. Okay, so you can reread, listen to the tape, or rewind and get that because I'm saying it fast, but you can slow that down and really understand it. But that's the key, is that you do that. So if you put words in the thread to begin with the letter T, I will get them into Wednesday's message. But let's move on with today. My S words today are support and smooches. And it's funny because one of my good friend Penny Burns, she always says smooches. And so even as her way of saying hi or goodbye. And so even when she said smooches on the last thing, I said, well, that's an S word. And so I got it into today's message. My feature poem today will be, I'm practicing living in a perfect world. And my message will be, what's your relationship with success? Okay. Now, normally, after I read the poem, I also offer that as sending a free copy, but I won't be. Oh, thanks, Deb. You're getting all those S words, but the next word, the next letter is going to be T. The S is gone. I already got the message for today's S word, but let me see if I weave some of those in there, special, if I can remember to sustain and sustenance. But the words you want to put in the thread now are words that begin with the letter T for the next message. But yeah, I won't be sending you a copy of today's poem, and you'll see why when we get to it. But let's go on with the message. All right. Where was I? Today's message is brought to you by the letter S, and my t-shirt, it's the Spurs. It's the Spurs, the five-time NBA champions. And the reason that I've chosen the Spurs is I choose them because one reason is, number one, I'm a Spurs fan, but the reason I'm a Spurs fan is because of the consistency that they've established and are committed to. I just love the Spurs with their consistency and their commitment to being champions. And so I wear this shirt even more proudly because I've been a fan for all 5 years. The reason it says 5 times champions, they've won the championship 5 times since 1999, and I was a fan all 5 times. So I didn't become a fair weather fan, and not that people don't end up becoming a fan of something after the team has already won some championships. But as it turns out, I was a fan before they even won their first championship. So I'm excited about, that's why I wear my Spurs shirt, and that's the letter S for today. And it's also the message that we tend to forget. And that is that we've won more storms than we've lost. So I want to weave that, and there you go, Deb. We have to sustain what we've been doing because we've won more storms than we've lost. And we have to remember that. Sometimes we forget that. I thank everybody for your support and love and smooches conveyed on my social media, which I mentioned because the speech contest that I just finished was conducted online in a space that was supposed to be live. And if you scroll through my page, you'll find that my last post regarding the results of the district round contest, which was just on Saturday, it says that I won 3rd place. It says that I won 3rd place. And let me tell you, in this small sample of my life, my Toastmasters life is a small sampling of my life. Since 1995, check this out. I've competed in this international speech contest 6 times. I've won the club, and you have to win your club, area, division, district, region, which is now called the semifinals, and then the championship. So I've competed 6 times since 1995, and in my 15-year active membership, I've won club 6 times. I've won the area 5 times. So I lost area once. I've won the division 4 times. So I've won division 4 times. I've won district 2 times, and I won the region twice, district and region twice, and I won the world championship once. See, so I've won more storms than I've lost in my Toastmasters career. And you can superimpose that on so many other parts of your life. Start focusing on the wins instead of the losses. Sometimes the reason we focus on the losses is because, well, if I focus on this loss, I'll get better so that I don't lose again. No, what you focus on, you ferment. And when you focus focus on the loss, you're so busy trying not to do that thing that caused you to lose that you actually give it power over what you're doing and your actions. And now the power comes to where you think you got it beat, and then bam, right at the last minute, it comes again. Because you're like, okay, here it comes, here it comes. I'm going to get past it this time. And then you don't, because you've given it so much focus on how I can't get past it, I haven't gotten past it, that it now becomes a bigger roadblock than it was before. So focus on the victories. What have you done well? So here it comes. I can do this again. I'm going to do this again. That's my Spurs. Consistency. I'm going to win. I'm used to winning. You know what happens? Your opponent gets worried. I used to coach community league basketball when I was in Chicago in a suburban community called Bolingbrook. After my first 2 years of coaching, I took a year off. I said, well, I'm not going to coach this year. And then I would still go to Support and watch the games. Well, I was watching a game, and I'm sitting in the stands with a friend of mine whose son was on that team, and we're talking, and I'm saying, wow, man, the coach should do this. You know, I'm coaching from sitting there, and at the time they happened to have a peer coach. There was a young guy, it was a high school team, and he was coaching the team, but he didn't have the respect of his players. So they weren't listening to him. And I'm sitting there saying, man, they need to do this, they need to do that. Well, at halftime, the coach quit and left. And so they say Sporty. And so boom, I went and got on the bench and coached the second half for them. And they were losing by double digit. I don't remember because I wasn't planning on telling this story, but just a great thought that just came to me. Well, they still lost the game, but I think we end up losing by maybe 3 points or something. And I mean, we came back. And then one of my kids who I had coached the previous year, who was on the team that won, I talked to him afterwards, and he said to me, he said, Sporty, he said, once you got in there and started coaching, we got scared that we were going to lose to this team. See, just from me coaching, my opponent, the kids who I used to coach knew how I get into it and how I can push my team. And so they thought I was going to push this other team over the brink and help them win the game. And you could see it because my guys, I mean, they were coming back, and I was blah, blah, blah. And so we ended up losing, but it ended up being a great season because the kids learned a lot. But that's what I'm saying to you. Once you focus on what you do well, then what happens is your opponent will shrink back, and the thing, your weaknesses will shrink because they see that they no longer have a home in your spirit. See, weakness needs a home. Negativity needs a home. Evil needs a home, and so you have to say, nope, don't have a spot for you here. Because I'm all about winning and moving on. So that's what you've got to do. Recognize you've won more storms than you lost. And each of the times that I did not make it, when those things that I just read to you about my Toastmasters, each of the times that I didn't make it to the next round, guess what? This is how I look at it. That's another round that I didn't lose. So if I got knocked out in the division round, the next round would have been district. Well, guess what? I didn't lose district that year. And so even, now that I just got knocked out in the district round in terms of winning first place, guess what? I'm not going to lose the championship. So, again, count what you have instead of what you don't have. And as I said to you, and I believe, I never let a loss make me a loser. Not rarely. I never let a loss make me a loser. And, and neither should you. See, it's not just about being positive, though that helps, but it's about being introspective and knowing that making it all about you doesn't have to be negative or selfish. It's all about me, but that doesn't have to be negative or selfish. Here's how. Making it all about you can mean stepping outside of yourself and then appreciating the impact that God delivers through you. See, that's what I do. Again, you know me, some of you know me, and someone say, well, yes, you're so arrogant making it about yourself. No, see, I know that God delivers through me. So I have to make it about myself to where I step back, look at what I'm doing and saying, look at God working through me. That's what I need to be doing to continue to carry God's word forward. See, again, that's focusing on the strength and on the win, because it's not about me. I know how but I don't get to see it all the time unless you make a conscious effort. So I step back and I look and I see what God delivers through me. And then you hear it through today's featured poem. And then you'll also see why I'm not going to send you a copy of it. It's called I'm Practicing Living in a Perfect World. It's in my book, There's a Poet in Every Prophet. Okay? I'm practicing living in a perfect world. If you know why you win, you'll always be a winner. If you know when to lead, you'll always be a leader. If you know how to love yourself, you'll always love God. That's the end of the poem. And that's why I'm not going to be sending it out, because I'm going to go on and post it in there more as a positive affirmation. If you know why you win, so you have to know why you win, not just how. Why do I win? Because see, why do you win? That's what I'm saying. Focus on your strength. If you know how to lead, then you'll always be a leader. And if you know, I don't quote myself. Okay. Yeah, you'll always be a leader. And if you know how to love yourself, then you'll always love God, because we were created in the image of God. So loving yourself is it's not selfish. It's about loving God. I love me. And so in loving me, I love God. And thank you, Deb and Martha, about those being great stories. Yeah, because those are the things that you focus on. And so many kids that I've coached are still my friends, and that becomes a joy. Hey, what's up, Tony? What's up, Brenda? What's up, Roger Carroll? What's up, Zach? All right. Okay. I went through it just to do some shout outs, because like I said, at the end, I'm going to stay on and talk to y'all. But so that's practicing living in a perfect world, because the perfect world is God's world. And that's one thing about perfection that you have. You will never lose God's love, because that's the only thing that's in you that's perfect. Because don't we always say practice doesn't make perfect, because there's no such thing as perfect? Right. Not humanly. But the perfection is in your love for God and his love for you. Now, my friend Ramona, she always volunteers a word, and I love her for doing that. And she volunteered the word support. And I just have to give her a shout out, because what she does is she'll also send me how she's using the word. And sometimes I use it because I really like what she wrote. So I'm just here I'm going to share the last 3 sentences of the message. She gave me a whole paragraph of how she's using support during this pandemic. And so here are the last 3 sentences she wrote. She said, "This time of sheltering in place has allowed me to set aside some self-support time." Didn't I just say when you step outside God and look at yourself? So I can dedicate time to things that I had promised myself I wanted to complete at home. I am using it as a time for self-renewal, so that when I do step out into this needy world, I can continue to offer my support. And then she made support an acronym, SUPPORT, showing understanding for a person's progress over a required time as a renewed person. So thank you for that, Ramona. And I love her. Again, there's the literacy lesson of mimicking and mirroring the process of turning support into an acronym. But here's what I liked about it. When she said that, I looked at the word, her final word is seeing herself as a renewed person. So I like that, renewed. So I went and looked up synonyms for renewed. And there were 3, but there were 2 that I like. 2 of the synonyms for renewed are reestablish. As in a relationship that you have, you reestablish a relationship, business or social or personal. And then resume. Resume is after an interruption. So you reestablish, and after an interruption, that's what renewing yourself is about. So guess what that means? You don't lose who you are. You renew and you reestablish. You don't lose who you are. You were a winner before this pandemic hit. and you are still a winner. Don't lose yourself in your circumstance, because your circumstance is also just your situation, and it has to be temporary, because temporary is a part of the plan. Nothing stays the same. Doesn't the Bible say everything under the sun changes? Something like that. I don't quote the Bible, I use it. Great stories in there. Or like I like to say, no great stories, all good endings, because everything is the cycle. It's problem, prayer, patience, testimony. So it really is about nothing. Everything is temporary. You're going through this. We even say, I'm going through this. And so that's a self-fulfilling prophecy in itself, meaning that I see the light. I'm not stuck here. I'm going to go through. And when I get to the other side, now what am I going to do? Am I going to sit there and cry about it? No, I'm going to say victory. And now that I'm in a new spot, what am I going to do in this new spot? Just jumped on board one of my sisters from Chicago, Zelda Robinson. Shalom. If I love you, what's happening? Good to see you there. Yeah, see, more interactive on this one. But it's because I'm coming from a different place with you on this. You don't lose who you are. What you do is you step back and see who you are once you get through. Step back and see who you are so that you can step forward and be who you are. Step back and see who you are so you can step forward and be who you are. And that's where you can answer the question of today. What's your relationship with success? What's your relationship with success? I was on a webinar last week, and I just thought of this. I can't think of what they said. What's up, Haas? They said something about what's your relationship with money, and it talked about how people tell themselves they don't deserve to have money, or they don't deserve prosperity. So I can't remember it totally, but that's what I'm saying. What's your relationship with success? And so what I want to read to you is from my book, Starting Today, which are my first 75 affirmations that when I was on WGN Minority Business Report, I did a 30-second inspirational message every week on that nationally syndicated show. So I did success. What's up, Alethea? Okay, success, SUCCESS. Sacrifice and understanding create consistency, eclipsing society's standards. Sacrifice and understanding create consistency, eclipsing society's standards. You see, sometimes we see ourselves as successful, but don't let ourselves be successful. We stop ourselves by listening to others who just can't see our vision, and sometimes would not trust themselves, let alone support us. So that's why success is sacrifice and understanding create consistency, eclipsing society standards. See, someone else can't see your success. They can't, because they don't even trust themselves in that spot. So how can they support you when they can't see yourself, because they can't see themselves in you? They see their failure as a bad one, as a bad thing. And they see that and they say, well, no, we're peers, we're equals. So if I can't do it, neither can he or she. Not making them a bad person, y'all. It's just that that's why you've got to have control over your mindset. You've got to take your time and pace yourself and get control of who you are. Because the people who we surround ourselves with, they can have our best interest at heart. But sometimes someone will pull you back because they're afraid for you, because they're afraid for themselves. This is where that poem says, when you know how to lead, you'll always be a leader. If you know why you win, you always be a winner. And so I have to know why I'm a winner, so that the person who needs me to pull them along, because this is someone who's important to me, and I need to know, look, I'm ready to go forward. Are you ready? Nope, you're not ready? Goodbye. Sometimes you got to let people go. We always say, you can't carry everything with you. Even at funerals, say, well, you can't take it all with you. Come on, y'all, hear what we're saying. It makes sense. You can't take all the money with you. You can't take all your friends with you. You outgrow your friends, and you have to cut people off. But sometimes you don't have to cut them off. You could just put them on pause, because you've got friends who, you know what, we like that saying, right? Reason, season, or lifetime. You got friends who are there for you for a reason or a season, but they're not there to be lifelong friends. And that, again, there's no need to be upset we have to just recognize, okay, this person helped me get through this, and now maybe I can help them get through that, or maybe I can't. And so I have to move on. But that, so that becomes the key. So what you got there, control your mindset. Thank you, Katrina. I see you just born. What's up, my little sister Helene? You're in there. Yeah, you have to control what you can. Now, those of you who tried to get on my 2 webinars that I did through Zoom, and you saw that the tech gods didn't want us to work and they didn't work. I ended up sending an email to everybody who got on and who didn't, saying, I hope you saw me model the calm that you have to have when there's something that you cannot control. See, I had no control over the technology. If I had messed up, nobody would have gotten in. As it turns out, 2/3 of the people who registered for the webinar got in, and they witnessed me trying to get the other ones in, and we couldn't get them in. So I said, I tried to get them in for a couple of minutes, couldn't. I said, move on, because I had to realize, you know what? Obviously something was right that these other people got in. So I can't figure out what this other person did that didn't get in. Doesn't make them a bad person, doesn't make me bad for leaving. You got to move on. So I hope the people who stayed in saw me model that calm when I said to them, okay, y'all, we're going to move on. Why? Because I still had their time to deal with, and I had to move on and deliver for them. And the people who didn't get in, guess what? They went on about their business because won't get it this time. Not a problem. See, we create problems when they're not there. Let some stuff go, y'all. So here's what I'm saying to you. You have to allow yourself to be successful. And here's how. Here's 3 ways that you can allow yourself to be successful. Number 1, define your personal success. See, I define my own success. Define your personal success, which has to be, by the way, a mixture of coaching, socialization, education, etc. But choosing your messengers carefully. So defining my personal success doesn't mean that I ignore what everybody else says. It means that I say, okay, well, based on what, this coach that I had, and then this happened in my life, and this type of education I got, here's what success means to me. And so that's, again, why the message I always say to you, choose your messengers carefully. And recognize that you're being carefully chosen as a messenger. So number 1 thing for allowing yourself to be successful is define your personal success. Number 2, after doing so, compete with yourself. See, I only compete with me to be better than I was the last time or the time before. Depends, because, like I said, I won 3rd place on Saturday, but I wasn't competing with the other 10 champions. We were division champions doing what I call a showcase of the talent in North Carolina's district for Toastmasters. And so I was up against 10 champions. And so I just had to be better than me. I didn't have to be better than any of them. I had to be better than me. A judge was looking for a certain message based on what was going on in their life. And we had judges who needed a message about a woman's experience. And the woman, Linda Marie, she delivered a great message about turning experience from being a noun into it being a verb, and talking about how important it was to take that action in those steps. Those judges needed that message. Haven't you said, man, this message was just for me? So if a message is just for you and you the judge, guess what? That's who you vote for to win. The guy who won 2nd place, he was a former gang member. And so he talked about how he helped stop the crime rate 90%. Wow. So imagine a judge who has someone either dealing with a gang problem or they have kids who have been bullied and dealt with gangs. And so they're like, man, this guy stopped 90%. I like that. See, those were the messages that my message was about being the greatest, about the fact that you will only be successful when you choose to be yourself. Somebody still needed that message. That's why I won 3rd place. But those other two messages resonated more with those judges. But guess what? I can't change my message, because if I change my message to meet those judges who wanted a message about experienced women and about gang crime, if I change my message to make them happy, the next time I run up against a judge, well, maybe those judges don't need that message. They need my message about being the greatest. See, so you have to be consistent with your message. Define your personal success. After doing that, compete with yourself to be better than you were last time. I was so pleased with my performance, and I'm going to post a video on here for you as well. So I said, I did that right. I got that right. Good. Somebody got my message, and people posted it, like my sister just putting all caps, and now I got to pay her for doing that. You're still the champion. Yeah, I love you, Zach. But a lot of people gave me that. Tony sent me that in a text. Haas sent me that in an email. Haas was on the registration. So many people say, you're still our champion. And you know what? That really takes me back to 1995 when I made it to the World Championship. Now, at the World Championship, there were 10 of us, and at Toastmasters, they announced first, second, and third. And when they announced first, second, and third, they didn't say my name at all. So I didn't win first, second, or third. And when I went home, people say, Sporty, how'd you do in the contest? I said, I tied for fourth with the other 5 that didn't take first, second, or third. Sporty does not see himself as a loser. Never. Never. I tied for fourth, because they didn't say who took last. They didn't say who took 10th. They just said who took first, second, and third. So why should I see myself as last? Not going to happen. But here's the other thing, the reason I bring that up. When that contest was over, people in my club who had came, people in my area, my division, my district, all the levels that I had gone past, my region, all of them came and they did what so many of you have done in the thread and on my social media. So you still our champion. We still love you. And then I said, you know what? That was the win. I didn't need to win the World Championship of public speaking. I won the hearts of the people that I love. And they won mine, and that made me a winner. And so, boom, I went on and created a seminar called The Decision to Win that talked about getting your personal win and how it was so important for me not to get on the stage to win the World Championship trophy, but to get into this audience and be with the people I love who said, well, we were there for you and you represented us well. Because see, that's all they cared about. They were biased. I don't care if every other speaker, I don't care if I fell off the stage, my wig came off and they said, well, Sporty, no, I think that the judges were biased. Come on, you know what? That's what support is about. You're up there for your person. So, so that's the beauty of it all. And that's why I appreciate y'all and I love y'all. And y'all know Sporty does not lose. And since Sporty doesn't lose, guess what? Neither do you. Because the only way we stay on one another's teams is by being supportive. And the only thing I have to do is be there for when you fall, the same way you were there for when I fell. Because come on, I'm not in denial. It is called a defeat. I control your vocabulary. Don't let your vocabulary control you. But don't act like the word defeat is not in there. I was defeated on Saturday because my goal was to win first place. I didn't win first, but I did win third. But so it was a defeat. But I'm not going to let that defeat, again, that didn't make me a loser. And I'm not in denial. Because my ultimate goal, you've seen me post before that I'm humble in defeat and I'm arrogant when I compete. Because I was competing, saying I'm Sporty King, I'm going to win the whole thing. Now that I didn't win the whole thing, I can tell you about the great journey it was, the great experience. That's what I mean by being humble in defeat. I don't feel like I'm a loser, but now I can say, yeah, you know what? I was pleased with how I did this because I wasn't settling for what I was doing while I was when my goal was to win the whole thing. I wasn't settling for none of it. When I practice and I mess up, I didn't settle for that. I think, no, let's go. Let's get that together. And I focused and I got there. And like I said, I was very pleased with what I delivered. So now I can really look forward to supporting Linda, because I would love for her to win the world championship. Why? Because now I get to say, you know what? The reason I couldn't beat her, I didn't beat her in the district, is because nobody in the world could beat her with her message about women's experience. You see what I'm saying? See, so I compete with me, but when you beat me, number one, you have had to have the game of your life. That's why I don't feel like a loser, because I know that when I do my best, I win. So if somebody could beat me, man, I'm supporting that person. So I want her to go all the way to win the world championship. And in 2018, when I won second place, a good friend of mine, Kevin Johnson, he made it through the semifinals, and he did make it to the big stage and finished as one of the top 10 in the world. He didn't win the world champ, but I got to say, well, you know what? The guy who beat me in district made it to the world championship. See, so it's still feeding off of one another, but it's still it being all about me. I want to see what's the furthest I got, because once I know what's the furthest I got, guess what? Now I can say, you know what? I can get you in here. See, if I'm not in the building, I can't get you in. So really, it's really thinking about that. But and then lastly, the third thing, by the way, so those are two things: personal success, define it. Then, compete against yourself. Okay. But the third thing is, I maintain that stream of consciousness and attitude about being my personal win by the signs that I have on my walls, which in this case are part of my daily ritual. I have 1 Peter 4:11. It was my 2015, because every year I have an annual scriptural theme that I post on my wall. And I've told you before, read what you post on your wall and inspire yourself. In 1 Peter 4:11, it says, are you called to be a speaker? Then speak as though God himself were speaking through you. Are you called to help others? Do it with all the strength and energy that God supplies. Then God will be giving glory in everything through Jesus Christ. And so that's what I say to you. What are you called to do? What are you called to do to showcase your success? Don't beat yourself up if you don't have the full answer. Boost yourself up by reframing what you may think is indecision, because you may, I don't know, I got so many things. No, you may think that's indecision, but what that actually is, that means that you have options and you have tough choices to make that are blessings. The fact that you've got options, that's a tough choice to choose from which blessing you're going to follow. So pace yourself and then get refocused on you. Not just in this pandemic, but plan to continue that. That's the consistency. Stay focused on you, because you cannot walk in someone else's shoes and they cannot fill yours. Bam! That makes you even. That's why you don't have to worry about competing with someone else. You can't walk in their shoes. You can't be as good as they are at being them, and they cannot be as good at being you as you are. So those are the three things. And I thank you for even allowing me into your screen, into your spirit. And then thanks again for being a part of my winning team. That's the message, y'all. What's your relationship with success? So I hope you see mine, and I hope you let it define yours and move it in. All right. So Jill had to take a call and check back in. Well, you're back on. That's all. That's consistency, because this is the second part. I'm going to do something this week that I wasn't allowed to do last week because the tech gods did not want to cooperate. But I'm going to stay on and just read through, answer some questions and show some love. I appreciate y'all, and go through. And so anybody who just wants to check off, the message is over, but the message will continue in what we go through and as we talk, because this is something that I never do. So yeah, we already passed the 30 minutes that I wanted to do my Glue Wednesday, and because I'm conscious of people may not, especially when it's live, when people are at jobs, they may not have 30 minutes or an hour. Well, right now you're at home, okay? So I figure you got a little extra time. If you want to use it with me, let's do that. That's not a problem, okay? But recognize that Let's enjoy that the tech gods are going to let us go through. And so what we got here, let's just thank you, Roger Carroll. You needed this message together. See, and doesn't that connect to what I said about how the judges needed the message that they got? Thanks, Haas. Fantastic. Jill already talked about, and again, y'all put some words that begin with the letter T. You can put them in the thread, and I'll get them in on Wednesday. And my little cousin, I call it, little cousin Erica, met her through Leaders of Tomorrow program years ago, and naturally because we got the last name King, that's why I call her my cousin. Hey, Carolyn, good, haven't seen you in a while. Going back to Chicago with our days working with the Hospitality Academy. Yep, Haas. Okay, Alicia, you know it. Glad to see you on there. Helene, my little sister, we just finished celebrating her brother, who was my spiritual brother, Butch, last week, and you know I love him to death. And good. So actually, I don't need to go all the way down because I shout out at most of you when you came on. Diane, I didn't see you come on. Great. One of my coaches, my current coaches for my speech contest. She helped me with a part because she does storytelling seminars that helps you take your personal story and make it a business connection for you. So that, again, there's that personal success. Diane Scott Shields. Hey, what's up, Diana? Okay. Oh yeah, we're new friends. We're doing the Humor Academy together with AATH. That's what I told you. In June, I'm going to be posting that. Okay, I gave Zelda a shout out. All right, okay. Jamal came on, man. Oh man, my persistent one of my little nephews there. This man was in an accident where I think it was a car accident, Jamal, and he lost the use of his legs from being pinned against something, and he has had to teach himself to walk again. And he's done it. So he's a book and a success story coming up. And I've been happy to be able to be on his team and encourage him. And you know me, while he was learning how to walk again on the crutches and everything, I said, yeah, well, let me race you now. With my old bones cricket, I said, let me race him while he can't walk. and that humor was helpful for him. And that's the one thing we discussed at AATH. And then Dexter Nelson, what's up, Dex? All right, get back to the block. All right, yeah, 55 LaSalle in the house. But just all of everybody that's on there, all of us are such survivors. If we just want to make sure that we connect to some of those things that make us survivors, and then find a way to keep it as survivor. And Haas, thank you. It says Jose, I call him Haas. Our neighborhood where we grew up, everybody, just about everybody had nicknames. We were some nicknaming people. And y'all know Sporty's not my birth name, it's my nickname. My birth name is Sporty, which is what you see in the feed, because Fussbook, I nicknamed them. Fussbook had taken me down from when it was Sporty, and then they brought me back, and then they allowed me to use my birth name only. Okay, Aletha, you really have me thinking about my life living as a single person since the passing of my husband. What am I going to do now? And see, you take that last sentence, and instead of making it a question, what am I going to do now? It's what am I going to do now? Is that, hey, I got options. See, you have new choices. Now that you're a widow, not that we say, oh, hey, my husband's gone, no problem, I can just do what I want to do. No, come on. First of all, this has to sink in, Alethea. It hasn't. How many months has it been since he's gone? Is it 2 months? Your life was entrenched with his for years. So no, you don't get to just bam, switch off and do something else. One thing I always recommend to people when you're going through the grieving process, first thing, you put your head in. I have no intention of getting over it. I'm not getting over the loss of my mother. I'm not getting over the loss of my father. I'm not getting over the loss of a spouse or a special person in my life. What I'm going to do is learn to live with that loss. I can't get rid of it. I have to learn to live with it. So that's what, Elisa, you have to do, because now you're single. And see, that's part of the now normal, because now you're single again. And so what does being single mean? It's just like I say, defining your personal win and competing yourself. What does that mean to you now? So you have to find the positive in it, because it's a tough thing. And you got a lot of people, as the pity party will definitely show up, not beating people up, But you know what? We help people mourn by really reminding them, yeah, I know, girl, I know what you're going through. Bulletin, no, they don't. They weren't married to your husband. They saw what was on the outside. Don't we? Come on, no relationship is perfect and without problems. They didn't see y'all fighting in the house. They didn't see what you disagreed with, because outside you show a united front. Well, because whatever your problem was, y'all got over it and decided this wasn't big enough to stop the relationship. Now let's get back out and continue to join and bring some blessings in. And there's one of my blessings just came on, Lenny Ravitch. What's up, Lenny? How things going over there on the other side of the world? Okay, Zed, we have to put into practice now the way tomorrow is. See, y'all don't, we have to recognize this could be the way it's going to be until the day you die. Guess what? Since you don't know what day you're going to die, you know, but you know, you could die tomorrow. So this is how it was. So why fight what's going on right now? Learn to live in it. You know, get better with your social media. You know, get better with certain things. Live this life. You know, we watch the movies about the future, and they're living in the way they have to be. They're all driving around. There's no people. They're fighting for petrol and all of that stuff. See, so, you know, so live as if this is the way it's going to be until the day you die. Come on. How about you know, we like to talk about the Israelites wandering 40 years and 40 nights. Ooh, do you think they had some issues? How about Noah, 40 days? You know, come on. Think about all those things. Put it in perspective, y'all. We don't know how many days, how many weeks, how many years it's going to be, but we have to stay positive that whole time. And we're going to dip. It's 365, 24/7 is not possible, but stay up more than down, positive more than negative, go forward more than you're going backwards. Hey, what's up, Kevin? Speaking of that, you know, one of my military, you know, God bless it. You know, we stayed friends. I met Kevin 2011 when I was doing my military ministry, because that's what I ended up calling it. But his group in Montana, they embraced me. And so right now I'm even praying for the guy who I met him through, you know, Captain Mark Thompson, with a group that I believe they're over in Afghanistan right now, Kevin. You know, but Mark had sent me a message, you know, keep praying for us because we're having some challenges. You know, things don't go away, y'all. It really is just quickly becomes, how do we deal with them? And it's been 5 months, Alicia. Wow, it's been that long. Okay, see, so, you know, so almost a half a year. And you've met, so now what do? You say, I've made it 5 months. See, you know, that's what you do. I made it 5 minutes, then I made it 5 hours, then I made it 5 days, then I made it 5 weeks. Wow, now I've made it 5 months. And now don't say, can I make it 5 years? No, I've made it 5 months. Can I make it 5 months and another 5 minutes and another 5 hours? See, take it in bites and then congratulate yourself for every minute, every moment that you make it through. What's up, Karen Coleman? All right, in New York in the house. All right. Okay, good to see you. All right, Zet. Don't live in fear and don't turn to God now because of the present situation. First, and see, you can't live in fear, because fear, when you say don't turn to God now, you know, fear is the absence of God in your life. When you're afraid, you lose faith, you don't have God in your life. Because if you have God, then you will have faith. Your faith doesn't have to be huge, but you got to have it. That's why they say if you have the faith of a mustard seed. So don't compare your faith to someone else's. And one thing I would say to Zed is, I say, yes, do turn to God right now, actually. Yeah, if you're living in fear, yeah, maybe the best thing for you to do is turn to God. But I hear what she's saying. If you're living in fear, then that means that you're not turning yourself to God. So because if you turn to God, the fear will be alleviated, if not lifted. And again, it takes time. Pace yourself. You've only been successful when you've paced yourself. And so wisdom being in retrospect, let's get in retrospect and look back and say, again, like Alicia, it's been 5 months. Okay, I made it 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, 5 weeks. I got another 5 minutes to go. And I got to congratulate myself. And thank you, Jill Knox. I call her my Queen Knox, because when I joined the Laughter Association, applied Association of Applied and Therapeutic Humor. Over this show, you see that little, oh, where it goes. Yay, AATH. You know, that was one of the awards. And what a blessing and a memory. See, this is why I say you put stuff on your walls to bless you and remember. This was the first ever Esther Hyatt Spirit of AATH Award. Esther was a member who I believe was in her 80s or 90s. And she even kept coming to the conferences when she was wheelchair bound, and everybody loved her. And that was my girl. I would always joke with her and dance with her even while she was in her wheelchair. And so when they named that award, when she died, and then we named an award after her, and I was actually the first person to receive the Esther Hyatt Spirit of AATH Award. Now, we had been given a Spirit of AATH Award, but now we named it after her. So see, again, find a way to create a successful moment for you. See, there's another personal definition of success. I said, you know, I could have been the 7th winner of the Spirit of AATH Award. I could have been, and that's fine. But guess what? I was able to turn that into, I'm the 7th, but I'm the first to win it with Esther's name on it. And it's personal to me because Esther was my personal friend, you know, and we used to email one another, and, you know, and she'd all, you know, she's one of those people that said, you know, they give you those little twists on things of, you know, what good is it if there's nothing sneaky about it, that type of thing. All right, y'all. So I'm going to close. I'm going to get ready to close down. If anybody wants some closing comments, you need me to say something else. But thanks again. This has been fun. and the tech gods, you know, we could give them credit. We're going to work with them. We're going to give them credit for working with us on this. But we also want to say they knew that they couldn't beat us. You know, because the tech god, every broadcast, the tech guys trying to not let me get through with the message. And every time I just come back and try again. Because those of you know that I do not let technology beat me. If nothing else, remember, technology needs someone to turn the power on. So it will never be, as the kids say, it'll never be the boss of me, all right? So your faith shall conquer your fear. Amen. And I see, well, Zets, thank you. That's the closest thing I got to a T word for Wednesday. You don't have to get in now. You still got until Wednesday morning to put your T words in there. I would appreciate it. But, you know, I'm going to come up with the message anyway. And so put it in the T as in thread, put it in there. But let's just close out by remembering we're all going through this. Yet each of us is going through it differently. And we're going to get through, but we're going to each have different battle scars. We will have battle scars, but we're going to have different battle scars. Who can you lift up today so that you'll feel the joy of being lifted up when it's your turn? You are not stuck in the house. You're safe in the house. You are not bored in the house. You're on board with what we need you to do to help work toward other safety by not going out and giving the virus a new host to carry it to somewhere else. You are not crazy. You're not going crazy. You are already crazy. It's just now that, you know, it's just now that you have the hang of it. You have to get the hang of it manifesting itself. You were crazy already, but now you see it, and you just got to get the hang of it. So get the hang of being crazy. Hey, what's up, D? D named me Mr. Bamboo, all right? Because in my backyard, the bamboo trees are growing wild, y'all. They up to over, y'all remember I told you about them a couple of weeks ago? It's only been a month, and my bamboo trees, several of them are now, it got to be at least 13 feet tall. Okay, so D said, she said, yeah, it's Mr. Bamboo. Okay, but you're not going to lose. You're going to learn what you knew all along. And that is GLUE, that God's love undoes everything. Thank you. God bless you. And he does. And I thank you for blessing me. And I see you next time. Ciao.